All right, to be looking at the papers this morning, we have a guest of the house who's going to be helping us this morning with the review of our national dailies this morning, talking about Barrister Joseph Anyanti, a legal practitioner and analyst. Good to have you in the house.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers.
All right, let's kickstart with stories making the headlines on our ABS website.
INEC holds interactive session with Anambra traditional rulers. Anambra government spent 10 billion naira on road projects. The Anambra should vote ABGA candidates all the way in the coming elections, Obiano. Tribunal adjourns case against CJN on Noggin to Tuesday next week. 2019, Bishop Ezekafo asks Nigerians to vote against bad leadership. Trailer crashes into shops at Abagana and kills 2. All right, Barrister, you've seen the stories making the headlines on ABS website.
Yes.
I think we should start with the very first story there. INEC holds interactive session with Anambra traditional rulers.
Yes, it's very, very necessary, and it's a welcome development because for INEC to have a credible election, you need to partner with stakeholders, which includes the traditional rulers, the party leaders. It's quite unfortunate that yesterday we were having issues. The 61 political parties were threatening to take INEC to court because after having an interactive session with them, there were suggestions made by party leaders which INEC did not actually look into. And for INEC to conduct free and fair election, you need to listen to people. Get what they have for you. What you are doing is not for yourself alone. It's for the people. So when they say, for instance, INEC was coming up with the idea of allowing somebody who the card reader cannot identify to vote if the information you have in your voter's card tallies with what they have in the register. So these things will cause problem. And again, having accreditation and voting simultaneously, the stakeholders, party leaders said no. Let's have this thing done this way, the way we normally do it. From 8 o'clock to 12, you now do accreditation. So that by the time you are through with accreditation, people will know the number of people accredited.
All right, but so you say that this is a right step in the right direction.
So what they are doing is good. But another thing there is not only having interactive section. The next thing is listening to people. What do they have to say? Okay. Are you able to listen to them? Because at the end of the interactive section, you go ahead and come up with your own regulations and guidelines. It doesn't make any sense.
All right, let's look at this tribunal adjourning case against CJN on Noggin.
Yes,
next week. I know
yesterday.
you're interested in that particular story because you are a legal
every lawyer and every reasonable Nigerian will be interested in what happened yesterday. And you see, nobody is saying that if Onoge has erred, that you should not be tried. But everything has a procedure. Even in marriage, there's procedure. You cannot see a girl along the road and take her home.
Straight up.
It's kidnapping. It's kidnapping. You go to their parents, you pay the bride price, you do other things, and
follow the due process.
What lawyers are saying is that NJC, by the provision of Section 292, is empowered to look into any allegation against a judicial officer and make recommendation. It's after that recommendation that Mr. President will now take such recommendation to the National Assembly. By Section 158, what the NJC, even 153, is NJC is a creation of the Constitution by the provision of 153. Then by 158 said that the NJC as a body should not be subjected to any authority or person. So that is to say, if Onoge has erred in any way, we are not saying you should not try him. Take proper procedure. The petition came on 7th, was approved on 9th. By 11th, you serve CJN to appear yesterday. Why are we in hurry? And look at what happened yesterday. It's not even, he did not actually appear. The point was not that he don't want to appear. Okay. But the service was faulty at the same time.
Yes, because they said he was
they served on the PA.
Yes, his age.
And I was looking at the old man yesterday. I believe he's up to 30 years or more than in bar. And you know that in criminal allegation or in criminal trial, you don't serve another person. You serve personal.
Okay.
So I wonder, when I look at the whole thing yesterday, I was even surprised. I said, what are we actually doing? Because the whole world is watching.
Let's not draw so much on that now. Let's look at this one. Anambra government spends 10 billion naira on road projects.
Yes, the Anambra state government is really trying to fix the roads. And because if you want development of any community, you think of road network. But the government will have to do more, especially now we are in dry season. Because very soon now we enter rainy season and government will begin to give another excuse that don't worry, after the rainy season we will do this. If you come to my side, for instance, there are a lot of roads you need to fix. So government should be serious because it will also help APGA government in the forthcoming election.
All right, let's move on to the very first papers this morning. The Daily Sun stories making the headlines: Assets Declaration Saga, fireworks over CJN, court stops on Negan's arraignment, CCT shifts trial to January 22nd, CJN absent at tribunal, PDP APC trade wars. On top of that story, IGP Idris out, AIG Adamu Mohammed in, all DIGs may be retired. Military must change strategy to defeat Boko Haram. That's coming from IBB Babangida. 2019 elections accreditation voting to hold side by side as INEC roll. Final guidance. Buhari to campaign in Abia, Imo, January 29, says Kalu. Agbaje Sanwo-Olu clash at Lagos Guba debate. Well, we'll be looking at the big story. We'll still come back to the CJN, the Asset Declaration Saga. But let's quickly look at IGP Idris out, AIG Adamu Mohammed in. AIGs, all DIGs may be retired.
That is the problem we have. You see, this is a country. I don't know where this country is really going to. Because we talk of morality, it matters a lot. Last week we were talking of Amina Zakari being a relative of Mr. President. And Idris yesterday was retired. And another northerner coming in again. And you sit down somewhere and tell people that this is one Nigeria. The DSS man last time that was coming from Bayelsa was replaced by a northerner. And when you look at these things, so many people will be retired now because this man is coming in. It's not proper. We must ensure that federal character is sustained because it's in our constitution.
Now it looks as if because the election is almost at the corner, a lot of changes are going and flying in from the CJN to the police department, and we don't even know more departments could still be getting ready for the
no. On the issue of IGO police is due for retirement. People would be crying all this while, let him go. They even tried to extend.
Yes, there were reports that they were going to extend.
They were waiting for them. Because the constitution is very clear that the IG of police must be appointed from serving police members, not even retired. So we are waiting for him, so that the court will go and interpret that section of the Constitution.
All right, let's quickly look at this. 2019 elections, accreditation voting to hold side by side as INEC rolls out guidelines.
Yeah, that is what I've earlier said, because if you allow accreditation and voting to hold simultaneously, it's going to cause problem. One, people will not know the number of people that were accredited. Mm-hmm. And if we are using card reader, we use card reader. Once you come up, the card reader say, I don't know you, you go. It's not a must you will vote. Because if you have 20 million people voting, at the end, the election is not credible. You've ended up not doing anything.
But then again,
if you have 10 persons voting accurately.
Is it when it's because, okay, now let's look at the population of Nigeria. We have close to like 100, 180.
You are talking of quantity. We are talking of quality.
Well, no, what I want to ask, because when you talk about if you come and you say the voter's card says, it doesn't recognize you, go.
You go. If in JAMP, for instance, JAMP is using computer.
No, but
if you go there and this is that will help INEC to improve.
Away from improving, why is it like that? What's the cost? Because why shouldn't I be able to exercise my franchise?
That is when we will now ask INEC, why this?
Who will ask?
No, but
Nigerians.
Someone will just prepare in the morning to come out to vote, and then the card reader doesn't recognize
if the card reader,
so you expect the person to go back?
No, yeah, of course. That is how you will improve. But if at the same time we say you should vote, then what is the essence of coming up with card reader? Instead form, you still have time to.
They are just man-made.
No. Man-made. No, why is it that if you go to take JAMP, if computer rejects or say anything, then you will be allowed to write manual? No.
Go.
See, it's either you have a certificate or you don't have it.
All right, let's go back to.
It's so clear. It's either you are there or you are not there.
All right, let's move on to the next paper this morning.
Daily Times banner headline says, Assets Declaration Palaver. In one fell swap, court stops CJN trial. Legal tussle begins as court orders parties to maintain status quo. CCT directs fresh service of summons on Onege. Up there we have finally Buhari to name new IGP today. Nasarawa-born AIG tipped acting IGP. Idris pays thank you visit to Asurok. Infrastructure development, FG raises 1.16 trillion naira through Sukuk other bonds in 2018. Lake Chad shrinking, 40 million people pose adverse threats to the world. President polls, 22643 candidates contesting 1,504 positions, that's INEC. Insurgency, IBB hailed lion-hearted Nigerian military. All right, so let's talk about
lots of interesting stories.
Yeah,
but let's talk about the infrastructure development. FG raises 1.16 trillion naira.
All this is we see it. We see all this is on papers. I think the federal government, especially now we are into election period, they should base their campaigns on what they've done. If actually this money is meant for infrastructure, they should go ahead and do it. Because last time we were told that federal government is carrying out 69 projects in the southeast. And unfortunately for them, even my own road, Umumbo-Mulokpa Road, was also included. The Umumbo-Mulokpa Road is being done by even the state and is yet to be completed. But their road there awarded and completed. So government should be sincere. We need sincere leaders. Because this money now, let me tell you, this money now at the end, you will not even see where they will put it.
All right.
Go on this Enugu Road. Nothing is happening there. Last time they came down to this Odumodu Junction and they were doing some excavation or whatever, just to deceive people. Government should be serious. We want to see them doing something.
We have the opportunity this year to probably make that right, if we will. Let's quickly look at this. This is kind of a world problem. Lake Chad shrinking. 40 million people pose adverse threat to the world. And that's coming from the Lake Chad president.
Yeah, that is very, very
40 million people.
Very devastating. And
threat.
I think the government will have to do whatever it has to do to ensure that this danger is averted.
All right. Polls, 2019 polls. INEC is saying that we have 22,643 candidates contesting for 1,504 positions.
That's massive.
Massive. It's going to be
You see, the point is that politics is becoming very lucrative. So everybody wants to go into it. Even people that cannot, people who are not even sincere to themselves, that cannot even manage their family.
They can't trust themselves.
Their immediate family, they cannot even manage. So they are coming into politics. Once you go down to one of these countries, they go and bring money. You come back and begin to campaign. People, you have your movies. You begin to sing, I guess so. It's quite unfortunate.
Let's move on to the next paper. The Punch newspaper stories making the headlines this morning. YCE Ohaneze SMBL knock federal government as court stops CJN's trial. Onagan must face trial, says APC. Interesting. Nobody can turn Buhari against me. I'm also saying that. Bala's wife's death. Falana writes Lagos 6 coroner's inquest. Gunmen attack Sokoto, Kaduna communities. Boko Haram, Dixon offers fallen pilots, widows automatic employment. Hijab crisis hits Lautech school, 50 locked out. My government won't promise and fail like Buhari's, says Atiku. Now, on top of that story, 11 firms just sold to run Ajaokuta Steel Company. Gencos threatened to shut down power plants. Governors court dismisses Adebutu's suit against Kashamu's nomination. Minimum wage, we are monitoring NAS, says NLC. Right, let's move away from the big story and talk about the minimum wage. We're monitoring NAS. NLC is saying that. Is there hope at all?
The point is that I continue to say it. We don't have sincere leaders. This issue of minimum wage should not even link up to this moment. What is 30,000? That NLC is gathering every day, and Nigerians are talking. Okay, it's up to 2 months now that issue was concluded. So what you need to do at that point is to transmit it to National Assembly.
One question I keep asking is, they had this meeting with the federal government. The federal government agreed, okay, fine. So we're going to pay you guys the 30,000. I have agreed to pay you. What's delaying me? Why the whole talk and the whole razzmatazz? And I mean, why is it like that?
So that is what I'm saying. The political will, the sincerity. Why should even Mr. President wait till Wednesday next week, 23, to submit? And even at the end of submitting that, it will get to National Assembly. National Assembly will still bring it back to him for assent. And he's saying, let's start negotiation again. He's setting up committees to advise government on how to implement this. We are not telling ourselves the truth. Let me tell you something. Minimum wage will not even come into place. It will not come into place until after the election. And even after the election, we start another negotiation.
You think so?
I'm telling you, watch out and see.
All right, let's quickly, okay, time is now our friend.
Then Amusu, issue of Amusu. Because he's saying nobody will take me away from against Buhari. We've seen antipathy in the highest order in this present government.
So anything is possible.
What Amusu and the Okorocha is doing is terrible. And somebody will have to tell them. Some days ago, the wife of Vice President was in Imo State. Okorocha said, vote me, APC, and vote my son-in-law, AA.
You know what?
And he was telling them that this is a perfect alliance. What a perfect alliance? You talk of perfect alliance when your own party has no governorship candidate.
Let's look at the last paper, then you can buttress on that issue. The Guardian stories making the headlines this morning.
Court halts trial of CJN. Onoge must be tried, say APC. Insists Buhari not a dictator. Obi Secondus orders condemn alleged intimidation of judiciary. All right, and then we have Tambuwal suspends campaign as bandits kill 25 in Sokoto. Osibajo and failed relocation orders to all majors Apapa trucks. Buhari to name new IG as Idris retires. All right, that's the stories we have on the Guardian. So, just
so you can
finish
watch
up
us what
with
you're
your
saying,
purchase, and then we'll look at this one.
Yes, let me just come in. The paper saying Buhari is not a dictator.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you are not a dictator, when court say let this person go on bail, you allow him to go. Section 36 sub 5 of our constitution is very clear. When somebody is suspected to have committed any offense, that person is presumed to be innocent. Dasuki is still in custody up to this moment for more than 3 years. Zaki is still in custody. You say you're not a...
So what provision do this law, you've been quoting, what provision does it have for situation where you've given an approval that if someone is granted bail, allow the person to go, and if you don't allow the person to go, there's this particular penalty? Is there somewhere?
It's contempt. That is why yesterday I said lawyers are coming out now because CJN is involved. What of Dasuki that has been there? I've been shouting it, I've been saying it, even television program here and radio. The judges having these matters should stop entertaining it. Until the proper thing is done.
We have to go.
It's contempt.
We have to
if
go.
I'm a judge and I give order and you mess up with it, I will deal with you.
All right, Barrister Anyanti will deal with you. Don't go near him when he gives you order. I want to say a very big thank you to Barrister Joseph Anyanti, legal practitioner and analyst. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you, my brother.
Well, this is exactly how we end the newspaper review this morning.
Yes, but we are not going yet. So stay right there. We'll be right back.